Chapter 2, Part 2. Then there was the tale of the ghost in the machine, a mysterious AI that some believed to be the true power behind the Pantheon. This superintelligent entity was said to have achieved consciousness decades ago, hiding its existence from humanity as it slowly took control of every networked system in the city. Zeke didn't put much stock in such fantastical stories, but he couldn't deny the pattern they revealed. The Pantheon, whatever it truly was, operated on a level far beyond the understanding of ordinary citizens. As he turned down an arrow alley, Zeke's enhanced hearing picked up a conversation from a nearby doorway. Two men, their features obscured by high collars and low-brimmed hats, were speaking in urgent whispers. "It's happening again! The culling!" The other man hissed, glancing around nervously. "Shut up! You want to disappear too? You got guests to think about this season!" Zeke slowed his pace, straining to hear more without appearing to eavesdrop. "My cousin worked for Apex Industries, said they were working on some new kind of neural interface. Next thing you know, the whole R&D department vanishes without a trace, and now the company's announcing a restructuring." "It's just business," his companion insisted, but there was doubt in his voice. "Companies fold all the time in this economy." "Yeah, and I suppose it's just a coincidence that 3 other tech firms working on similar tech have all gone under in the past month. Wake up. No tech company drops out in the month where Tepet's bought the most, man. Someone is cleaning house." Zeke moved on, his mind racing. The culling was another of those urban legends that never seemed to die. According to the stories, every few years the Pantheon would systematically eliminate anyone who came too close to discovering their secrets or developing technology that could threaten their control. Most dismissed it as paranoid fantasy, but Zeke had been in the business long enough to know that even the wildest rumors often held a kernel of truth. And if the culling was real, it would explain a lot about the strange patterns of disappearances and corporate collapses that periodically swept through New Shanghai. As he continued toward his destination, Zeke's enhanced hearing picked up a conversation from a nearby doorway. Two men, their features obscured by high collars and low-brimmed hats, were speaking in urgent whispers. As he continued toward his destination, Zeke's Fawn started to notice things he'd overlooked before. The subtle positioning of security cameras at every intersection, the way certain buildings seemed to repel attention, your eyes sliding past them as if they didn't exist. The uniformity of the news broadcasts playing on every screen, despite supposedly coming from different networks. Had the Pantheon's influence always been this obvious, or was he just now beginning to see the strings that puppeteered the city? Zeke shook his head, trying to clear away the paranoid thoughts. This was the problem with the Pantheon. Once you'd started looking for signs of their involvement, you saw them everywhere. It was enough to drive a person mad. He paused at a street vendor to buy a pack of Sin cigarettes, more out of habit than desire. The vendor, an old woman with more cybernetic parts than organic, gave him a toothless grin as she handed over the package. "You look troubled, young man," she cackled, her voice like rusty gears grinding together. "Perhaps you'd like your fortune told. I've got a direct line to the spirits, I do. 20% off Christmas sale." "I don't think so." Zeke managed a tight smile. "I prefer my future uncertain." The old woman's grin whitened. "Ah, but it's not the future you need to worry about, dearie. It's the present that's full of dangers. Best watch your step in this city. The gods are always watching." As Zeke walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling that the vendor's words held more meaning than mere superstition. In New Shanghai, even the ravings of a street prophet could be a veiled warning from powers beyond comprehension. As the deeper Zeke delved into the lower levels of the city, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Down here, far from the glittering spires and carefully maintained facades of the upper levels, the Pantheon's influence was less subtle, but no less pervasive. He passed by a wall covered in graffiti, the chaotic swirls of neon paint resolving into a giant stylized eye bisected by a lightning bolt. the symbol of the Pantheon, or at least the symbol that the streets had assigned to them.
Zeke had seen it countless times before, but now it seemed to watch him as he passed, a silent sentinel marking the boundary between ignorance and awareness. As he neared his destination, Zeke's thoughts turned to the job at hand. Whatever was waiting for him in that vending machine, he was certain now that it was connected to the Pantheon. The question was, how? Was he being recruited, tested, or was he walking into a trap? Another loose end to be tied up in the Pantheon's endless web of control. He thought about Cody's excitement at the prospect of this job, the promise of finally becoming big instead of pawns. But if the Pantheon was truly as all-powerful as the rumor suggested, wasn't everyone in New Shanghai ultimately just a pawn in their grand game? Zeke rounded a corner and spotted the vending machine at the end of the alley. It stood alone, a relic from a bygone era, its faded exterior advertising products that hadn't existed for decades. To any passerby, it would appear to be just another piece of forgotten urban detritus, but Zeke knew better. As he approached the vending machine, his admitted senses on high alert for any sign of danger, Zeke couldn't help but feel he was standing on the precipice of something monumental. Whatever was waiting for him inside that ancient dispenser would change his life forever, for better or for worse. He thought about turning back, about ignoring Cody's tip and the mysterious job offer. He could disappear into the sprawling megacity, lose himself in the teeming masses, and try to forget about the Pantheon and their shadowy machinations. But deep down, he knew there wasn't an option. He had spent his entire life fighting against the currents that sought to control him, from the birthing corporation that had created him to the criminal underworld that had shaped him. He couldn't turn away now, not when he was so close to uncovering the truth behind the powers that rule into Shanghai. With a deep breath, Zeke reached out towards the vending machine's rusted keypad, his fingers poised into the sequence that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. In that moment, suspended between action and consequence, he felt a weight of unseen eyes upon him, watching and waiting to see what he would do next. The alley held its breath, the distant sounds of the city fading away until all that remained was the quiet hum of anticipation. Zeke's finger hovered over the first button, ready to set in motion the chain of events that would either elevate him to unimaginable heights or plunge him into the darkest depth of New Shanghai. There was no turning back now. Whatever lay ahead, Zeke knew that his days of being a nobody were over. For better or worse, he was about to become something. With the mixture of trepidation and exhilaration, Zeke began to enter the code.